touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Alrighty, time for the second race in our doubleheader tonight, and it'll be the Sylvania Cup Series from South Boston Speedway. On the front row, we've got Chaz Chadwick alongside Tyler Shangles, so kind of an interesting front row that we haven't seen a lot of lately. Behind that, you've got the 19 of 2023 champ At-Man Atley, and runner-up to him last year, Ewan What Army, starting fourth. Then you've got Al Bunch and Nate Newman. This is starting to become quite the intriguing battle as Nate Newman starts to close in on Al Bunch with his points lead. Then you've got Tyler Aspinall and Jack Ross. Jack just had his teammate Jakov Rosovich win at a short track the other night in ARCA. So hopefully looking to maybe double down on some Ross in victory lane. Then you've got Dave Steele Jr. with his teammate Dalton Scott. Their other team owner, Brian DeBlank, alongside Kellen Relic. Ant Meeperson and Lynn Farrell. Bob Leader and Andre Stefan. Jacob Shangle and John Roman. Chris Hergeson and Chris Harvey. James Reddick and Kara Shangle, Monty Shangle and Nelson Chacon, Tristan Reams and Trevor Walker, Tyler Landa and John Brinker, Bella Fawn and Justin Day2, Guido Piano and Cam Jordan, Matthew Fastnot and Jordan Walker, Zach Armstrong and Tayden Berggren, Daniel Paulus Jr. alongside Alan Taylor, Liz Shangle and Fireball Robert, with Louis Trost and Gavin Legend at the very back there. 310 laps around this 0.4 miles, so it would be 2/5 of a mile track, which is a very intriguing size we've got on the schedule. We're able to fit all 42 cars on the field at once, so these cars definitely big honkin' stock cars for a short track this size. 4/10, that's the proper classification. It's a 4/10 mile racetrack, and these guys are ready to tear it up here tonight. Chadwick gets that lead, but now Atley, who's been very good at these short tracks, wants to try and take the lead away. The lead for Chadwick, very short-lived, leads the lap, but Atley right there wants to take it away from him. Al Bunch not wasting any time moving to the front here. A lot of it really does come down to starting position. That inside line is huge for these guys. Now they're starting to get singled out here and run one single line. Chadwick losing another spot here, though, as Tyler Aspinall makes the move. Jack Ross started on the outside and found his way down inside pretty quickly. It's interesting, Dave Steele Jr. in that 90 car, one of his first few starts in the Cup Series here. It's only his second career start, so looking solidly in the top 5 now. And now this is where we settle into a nice green flag run, I hope. Might end up jinxing it if I say too much, but at least they're getting sorted out here and running clean laps. Atley stretching it out a little bit on second place Al Bunch. We've been trying to craft our short track package, and I think tonight we're going to have probably one of the best short track packages to give us some great racing here tonight. South Boston truly is a unique 4/10 mile track that it's fun to watch race around here. Jack Ross up to 4th, not too bad. The 00 has had a rough start to the season and wants to try and get a good run going here tonight. Of course, it's the Toyota Owners 310, and how fitting is it that we've got a Toyota leading the field in Atley Weiss. Second to him, the Jaguar of Al Bunch. Third, the Ford GT of Tyler Aspinall, the Ford GT of Jack Ross, and then the Audi of Dave Steele Jr., the BMW of Aunt Me Person, finally finding somewhat of a reemergence here in that 13 car. Jacob Shangle up to 7th with Monty Shangle right behind him. And then you've got Chaz Chadwick and Chris Hergeson rounding out your top 10. So the rest of the running order starts to get sorted here almost single file throughout the field. Nate Newman finally finds an opening, gets down low here, but he's going to have to get to work. That car definitely faster than the position he's running. It shows you just how stout this field is, that even our slowest car, not too far off the speed pace that the leaders are setting. Put in perspective, our fastest lap is a 15.1 by Aunt Me Person. Our slowest car out there is a 15.6, so they're only half a second from the fastest car to the slowest. That's some great parity, some great tight battles all throughout the field, that they're only half a second separating the fastest from the slowest car. And I think that goes to show you just it took us 20 laps before lap traffic became much of a factor here. And I think we're going to see that it's going to be hard to get through the lap traffic, because they're not all that slow for lap traffic. It's just, a really small track that it's bound to, become a gaggle at the front of the field. So far clean, no cautions as we turn lap number 23 on the track. Atley is just about caught up to Gavin Legend here, who's running dead last in 42nd. Al Bunch has been on such a hot streak lately. He's had 2 wins here in the month of May, and with a third win, if he could get 3 wins, the third win here in the month of May tonight, he would win a $5 gift card. He used his second win to get a +2 boost to all of his stats across the series, and still showing that he's, a threat to be messing with here. That 81, every upgrade that goes directly to him just makes him that much stronger. And just like that, Al Bunch takes the lead away from Atley Weiss with lap traffic to help him there. We all know what happens when Al Bunch is leading in a hornet's nest of lap traffic. He's been tangled up in some gnarly wrecks this season while leading. It's Atley Weiss's turn now to try and find his way through the traffic here. Running in third, it's Tyler Aspinall now up a couple spots. Dave Steele Jr. up to fourth. Chaz Chadwick back up into fifth as the LFG teammates run fifth and sixth. Seventh, Chris Hergeson amazingly up in the top 10. Jack Ross and Jacob Shangle with Tyler Landa, the last car, in the top 10. 11th is Alan Taylor, 12th Ant Meeperson, 13th Zach Armstrong, 14th Bob Leader, and 15th Tyler Shangle. So we're just getting settled in for the long haul here as everyone's working their way through lap traffic. Nothing crazy's happened yet. We've stayed green for the first 42 laps here. And as far as cup races go, this one should be pretty quick here tonight. Unlike next week when we're going to have the Coke 600, which will be the longest race in our Sylvania Cup Series. Ooh, 3 wide with lap traffic. That's bound to be trouble, as you've got Kara Shangle, John Brinker, and Trevor Walker 3 wide right in front of the leader. They get sorted here, and Al Bunch even making progress through the traffic. But in the meantime, Atley also making pretty good leeway through the traffic here as he's slowly catching back up to Al Bunch. A lot seems to have changed once Al Bunch got this new paint scheme put together. That Culver's number 81 has had more good luck than his Penske Reynolds car that's had a lot of bad luck. Seems like his luck has come around since picking up Culver's as a sponsor. It's going to be kind of neat towards the 30th race this season when we go to Darlington for the regular season finale. Everyone's going to be doing throwbacks, and Al Bunch actually throwing it back to his truck back in 2022, his Best Western paint scheme. So that'll be kind of fun to watch the throwback race later on in the season before our Music Fest Grand Prix, which will be in October. That Music Fest Grand Prix, it's officially up to 61 entries that we have signed up. Anyone and everyone that's part of the Sigma Discord channel is eligible to have a dog in the fight. So let's try to get those numbers sky high and to the moon with many different entrants. It's going to be fun, as my goal was to hit 65, which I think we're going to hit that without any troubles. Once we hit 65, it's going to turn into a 2-day special event. Whereas the first day on a Friday would be the heats and all the qualifiers to make the main event. And then Saturday, your main event, which, like we're looking, will feature. It'll feature a lot of drivers, new faces, and new places racing in the Cup Series. Wow, Dave Steele Jr. now up to second. He's already gotten a win in Bridge to Cup in the month of May. This could get exciting if he goes out there and gets his second win in the month of May. Kind of an unexpected figure in this Cup Series to be running up front. That Audi program has been snake bitten for most of the year. So having a good run in that 90. Could see him racing that 90 car a few more times throughout the season here in the Cup. Fastest lap still belonging to Aunt Me Person at the moment. Lap traffic really holding this 90 car back here as he needs to find some open room to make passes and start closing up on the 81 of Al Bunch. Al Bunch having a little bit more clean track. He's looking like he might put his team owner a lap down, who's just in a few cars in front of him. This is one of the shortest tracks that the the Cup Series races on. Gets any smaller than this, it's hard to host a full 42 car field, which is the requirement for most cases. We do race at Evergreen, where we do have sprint qualifiers to set the main event, but ideally we want to have a full 42 car field every week here in the Sylvania Cup Series, because it is the 42 best of our Sigma racing series, duking it out every week. Atley making a move to get by the 51. I thought he was getting by the 90 there, but not for position. Putting the 51 behind him, who's a lap down. Dave Steele Jr. closing the gap down little by little here as the lap traffic not as dense where he's running. And we get our first caution here on lap 71. The 6, Chris Hergeson, unfortunately suffers a flat tire. The 12 of Chris Harvey with a fuel leak. So there was a few problems there. The 12 with the fuel leak must not have pitted for the damage, but the flat tire for the 6 brings out the caution. So we'll get our first restart here tonight. Man, from 7th place with a flat tire, that's a tough one. Even with his fuel leak, he never made a trip down pit road, so Chris Harvey must have just been soldiering on with that fuel leak there for what little bit of time passed from the assessment of having a fuel leak. And we had a little bit of pit road drama here. It looks like as Kara Shangle comes onto pit as Monty Shangles trying to leave. That's just unfortunate mistiming for those two. And this is where it really gets to become shenanigans here tonight, as people are going to lose laps on their pit stops. And it's really going to come down to, if you can stay in the top 10, you're more than likely going to be safe here. But you're going to get trapped laps down really easy with how small this track is. Cautions likely are going to breed cautions here, as your lap traffic gets to restart on the insides. This is a traditional restart from 2003, since every time we use better cautions on a short track, it crashes the game usually. Still Al Bunch leading. Oh, no. The 90, Dave Steele Jr. having something go wrong with that 90 car. Don't know what that was all about. He swerved low. It's like he had a fuel problem or something. So just like that, cautions, breed cautions here tonight. So out of the race already is Brian DeBlank, Bob Leader, Ant Me Person, and Monty Shangle. Few drivers trapped multiple laps down, as Kara Shangles running 5 laps down in 38th. Chris Hergeson 3 laps down. Gavin Legend, Lewis Trost, and Fireball Robert each 2 laps down. Whole bunch of drivers trapped 1 lap down there. And so here we have a restart with 22 cars on the lead lap. Al Bunch is going to lead them to the restart. Hopefully we can get some green flag racing going here, as it's been plagued with a little bit of cautionitis here in the last 15 to 20 laps. Green flag waving. We're off and rolling for the restart here on lap 86. Whole slew of them coming down pit road. I don't know if that's gonna turn out well or not, but this really does turn into a battle of who's going to be able to stay out and lead the most laps on the lead lap versus how many people are going to get trapped laps down here at South Boston. Atley holding in solidly there. Wow, the 90 got disqualified. I don't know what he did wrong, if he might have jumped the start. But they sent out the black flag to send the 90 of Dave Steele home, unfortunately. That's a bummer because he was looking stout in that 90, giving that Audi a good run up until he got the black flag there. Dang. Oh, they're wrecking in front. They save it. We're down to 15 cars on the lead lap now, so Atley trying to duke it out with Al Bunch. Bunch holding the lead for now. Here comes Atley with a good run on the inside. A little bit of help from the lap traffic is going to give Atley the lead back here on lap 92. He is your defending champion for a reason. He seems to have quite the handle on these short tracks when it comes down to it. Some of his best races this season have come at the short tracks. Atley now setting his sights on getting by as many of these lap cars as he can. And of course tonight, this will be the last race of this week that we have scheduled for Sigma Racing. Atley's under attack here as Al Bunch drives it in deep. Al takes the lead back away from the 19 temporarily. We'll see if Atley can mount an attack back. Third place right now is Tyler Shangles. Fourth, John Roman. Fifth, Tyler Aspinall. Sixth, Ewan Wood Army. And that just got a little bit mixed up there. Top 10, very fluctuating. Still have 37 cars out there. 13 of them on the lead lap now. And 210 laps remaining in this barnyard brawl of a race. Al Bunch got his second win in May just a couple nights ago with the trucks at Charlotte in what was one of the most exciting truck finishes we've seen in a long time. Al Bunch didn't lead a whole lot of laps, but he did lead the lap that counted the most, and that was the last one to get the victory at Charlotte for the Coke Zero 300. Driving for none other than the guy that he's racing against tonight in Atley Weiss. After he claimed victory at Charlotte, Atley extended a contract extension for him to continue racing in his truck program. And of course, you know, it gets kind of convoluted and crazy even in real life NASCAR when you've got the likes of Kyle Busch racing for Childress, but then in the trucks he's racing, I think, for like Spire. So you got these kind of like team alliances that start developing. I'm sure Atley and Al Bunch, they have no ill will when they're racing each other in the Cup, as one employs the other. But Atley often has to face running down the guy that he employs here in the Cup Series. It drives for a different team. So yeah, no, it gets kind of crazy here in the Sylvania Cup Series. Atley right there catching back up to Al Bunch. Looks like he might take the lead back here. But yeah, Al Bunch got the job done for Atley's truck team, and it was an exciting truck race, one of the best ones yet this season. I almost forgot that I was doing a list of key moments throughout the season so that we could have a more robust awards ceremony at the end of the year. We're definitely going to have to start making a bid for the biggest races of each season so that there's a race that goes down as a nail biter, kind of a fan vote deal where we can vote for the best race of the season. That'll be fun. I think what would happen is I would pretty much pick a handful of races and let it go to a vote on who thinks the best race of those races were in 2024. So Atley takes the lead back and starting to stretch it out a little bit on Al Bunch, as we're 114 laps into this one at South Boston. Still have 10 cars on the lead lap. Only had 2 cautions so far. And gonna go ahead and pop into a chase cam so that we can get a crank it up here for the Sigma listeners. Still settled in for a pretty decent green flag run here. Atley really stretching it out. Al Bunch has lost a little bit of the momentum, the drive for that 81. We still have 10 cars on the lead lap as they run. Oofty, that's a rough day for the 20 of Nate Newman. 34th place, 4 laps down. If he's going to make up some points tonight, he's going to need some great luck to get back into this one. So far, Atley sits 6th in the points with 2 wins. And Al Bunch, of course, leads those points with 4 wins on the season. Atley needs to make up 250 points to close the gap to Al Bunch. And especially with Al Bunch still running very competitively in second, it's going to be hard for Atley to make up that many points. Obviously is not going to happen in one race, but all Atley's got to do is slowly whittle it down little by little. Based on how the points sit, Nate Newman might just fall to 3rd. I don't think he's going to fall any further backwards, so kind of a mulligan race. You're bound to have a bad race here and there. Nate Newman should only fall back to 3rd based on the points available and the gap he has to 4th. Jacob Shangles, who sits in 4th, is probably going to start catching up to 3rd place here with a good run tonight. He ain't going to close 100 points out, which is how far he is from Nate Newman. And even worse, Al Bunch with a 2nd place as he's running will continue to stretch out that points lead to anyone from 2nd on back. Tyler Aspinall sits 7th in the points, and he's having a good run here tonight. Still in the top 10, running 8th. We're slowly creaking towards halfway in tonight's race here. They've only been racing for about 42 minutes. We're on pace to have this race in the books within 2 hours here tonight. Al Bunch teaming up with his lap down team owner there, the 87 of Kellen Relic, as they too start drafting up to Atley Weiss here. Al Bunch could use Kellen Relic as a pick to push Atley up high and take the lead back if he can get the job done like that. Kind of interesting that Kellen's got playing a different strategy here. Obviously he's a lap down, but even though he's got damage, he's still competitive and could raise hell with the race leader to help his teammate out. Right there, that 28 car of Alan Taylor, that is 10th place. So 10th place, about to go a lap down if Atley can work his way around. Oh, Al Bunch ditches on the boss to get by him. And now Al Bunch, with a clear track in front of him, can start setting some fast laps to close in on Atley. Don't blink, because you might miss. This track, laps go by in 15-second intervals. And just like that, Al Bunch right there in the mix again. We've seen these two swap the lead handful of times already tonight. Kind of a moderate ebb and flow between Atley and Al as these two duke it out. Al goes deep, Atley up high. We've got yet another lead change in the race tonight. Give it back to Al Bunch in the 81 Culver's Jaguar. Kellen even helping as much as he can there to get back by Atley. That's going to put some distance between him and Al. .28 goes lap down, so that leaves us with 9 cars on the lead lap here at South Boston. It is pretty exciting to see this short track battle break out between two of the hottest contenders here in the Sylvania Cup Series. And they're really cementing their names here in the series, as it's been around since 2010. These are two that have joined the fold since 2022 and leaving a lasting impression that'll only continue to write deeper stories on their accolades in the series. Still crazy that we have never had a repeat champion since 2010 when the season was formed. The series was formed. We've had 15 different champions in 15 years, which is just absurdly crazy. No other series can brag that kind of talent that we've got, because we've seen champions of all different sorts, different backgrounds, different strengths, different weaknesses. Of course, there was the period when we had real-life drivers in the series, such as Brad Keselowski, Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, to name a few. Jimmy Johnson even had to show up and steal a championship from those that have been grinding it out here in the series. Then you got family regulars of mine, such as myself, my dad, and my brother, who've all locked up championships here in the Sylvania Cup Series. Kind of a bittersweet, note here this year, as this will be the last season it'll be under the flag of Sylvania Cup before we adapt the brand new Sigma Cup Series for 2025. My goal was to try and separate the series from making it less corporate and more, I guess, independent, so that we could have merchandise maybe, or different things that go with becoming your own independent show on the road. Sigma, we can start doing Sigma merchandise, as that is my own creation. It is the formulation of 15 years of dedication to a series that some people might just scratch their head and say, why? For me, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's kind of my second life. It's my release from all the craziness in the world. It's just entertainment. It's what we all do in our spare time, is find something to keep ourselves entertained. And we're getting an entertaining race going here, as Atley and Al just swap the leads back and forth again. It's going to be exciting to see which one of these two are there by the end of the race with the advantage on the other. Another very nice green flag run. We were treated to an early green flag stint that was halted by a quick pair of cautions that saw Chris Hergeson with a flat tire, and then Dave Steele Jr. with a mistake on the restart. Kellen Relic wants to get a lap back here. Gets by his teammate Al Bunch to take the lead lap position back. That puts us back at 10 cars on the lead lap as Atley, with blood in the water, can sniff it out, wants to get the lead back. Side by side on the backstretch, here comes Atley with a full head of steam through turns 3 and 4. Comes along the front straight to take the lead back from the 81. Third place is a full 5.5 seconds back, and that is now belonging to Ewan What Army in the number 1, as LFG Motorsports currently runs 3rd and 5th. A decent race for them here tonight. Nate Newman definitely a little bit on the south side of the setup here tonight. That 20 car having a rough go on the short track. So we just got past halfway about 15 laps ago, and 15 laps past halfway, 144 laps to go. This is probably getting down to the nitty-gritty for some of these guys. Let's take a quick check and see what the fuel mileage is that these guys are getting. It says 165 laps, so we might see green flag pit stops even before the end of this race. Still got Atley leading the way, working his way through lap traffic here. Still 10 cars Now 9 cars on the lead lap as they got by Tyler Landa there in the 7. Kellen Relic doing his best with a tore-up car to make moves for positions here. Atley wants to get back around that 87 Jaguar to get as much space between him to Al Bunch as he can. It's going to be hard is if we do have to see green flag pit stops, how that's going to tear things apart here in the race. It could really shake things up. We've seen so many times when pit stops and strategy goes south for these guys, and it just would have been so much better if you had a caution or something to reset it for them to pit, so they don't have to pit under green flag conditions. Man, What Army running in 3rd. It's an impressive run from the 1. Al Bunch slicing and dicing his way through the lap traffic. Still has his sights there on Atley Weiss at the front there. For these guys, it's really going to come down to waiting as long as they can to make that pit stop if they do have to. There's definitely a lot on the line here tonight with Al Bunch. If he gets that 3rd win, it's a $5 gift card. However, if Atley gets the win, it'll be his first win in the month of May, which is crazy to believe. Atley, you would think, would have had a couple wins already, but still searching for a win here in the month of May. Mostly due in part to this 81 car being so stout. It's hard to have a good finish when you're getting beat by the 81 each week. And just like that, Al Bunch takes the lead back. The back and forth still continuing to be a spectacle here tonight at South Boston. Atley closing it back up here. And here we have Atley back on the back bumper of the 81. Atley right there alongside the 81 again here on lap 200. And it's going to be Atley getting the lead back now with 110 laps remaining. There we have yet another pass for the lead. This is getting exciting. I've lost count of how many times the lead has swapped hands here, but it's getting aggressive. These guys really, when push comes to shove, this is when all the money is made or lost. These guys giving it their all. Still, it's not looking like third place joining in on the party, but the deficit would tell a different story. Is What Army's only 3.8 seconds back. We can keep this chart up. Ooh. And as you see now, third place is Tyler Shangle as he gets by What Army. Now Tyler Shangle closing the gap down to the leaders. These guys racing side by side is only going to allow the rest of the field to catch up to them. We're down to 100 laps to go here. We're still not certain if pit stops are going to be a thing that we see. You already got someone coming down pit road. 6th place, John Roman pitting. So that means our leaders are going to have to pit here. One more round of pit stops. And this can determine a whole lot of how this race turns out here in the end. There we go. Al Bunch dipping down pit road before Atley. These guys are going to start having to hope that there's no caution that comes out during this stretch of green flag pit stops. Still green so far, so things looking good for the leaders. And there we have excuse me, choking on popcorn kernel there. There we have a caution. And that's going to really mix things up. So here is what happens when you have someone coming off pit road and someone going on pit road. The 89 and the 62 collide. And it was, I mean, that was just an unfortunate circumstance that doesn't happen very often. That collected the 50 of Dalton Scott. The 78 gets some side damage that knocks him out of the race. No, unfortunately, Ewan Wood Army gets tangled up in some of the aftermath here. Oofty. Tyler Shangle, Ewan Wood Army, two of the folks that were racing for potential top 5 finish here tonight, knocked out. So as we get ready for the restart, it's going to be Atley Weiss with the lead. Wow, Atley just lost the lead. Now running in second, it's John Roman and Chaz Chadwick leading the way. As we're down to 60 laps remaining here. Okay, so we should be getting settled in for our final restart here with about 45 laps to go. Atley Weiss leads the way over Chaz Chadwick, Jacob Shangle, John Roman, and Tristan Reams as Al Bunch Well, ultimately, the game robbed us of a stellar battle between these two all the way to the finish. It happened due in part to green flag pit stop shenanigans yet again on a short track. You always, it's hard to pit under green flag conditions without somehow getting the wrong end of the stick. And Al Bunch unfortunately came out on the wrong end of the stick, and it trapped him out of a good finish here tonight. But at least Atley had been up front dominating for the most part tonight, and even if we were robbed of a spectacular duel between the two of them, it was still very exciting and fun to watch as the 19 and the 81 duked it out up until the point where the 81 ultimately lost all the marbles with the green flag pit stop failing to deliver on Al Bunch's behalf. Atley really is stretching it out here on second place. Tristan Reams, everyone's car really pretty much torn up here at the end of this one, and Atley, with the cleaner of the cars, he's blitzing some very quick laps here in the closing laps, rivaling even his fastest lap earlier in the race. He had the third fastest lap, and he is just out there on qualifying laps, walking away with this one tonight at South Boston Speedway. Crazy that this will still be Atley's first win here in the month of May if he can close out the deal. Down to just around 23 laps remaining in this one. He's going to catch some more lap traffic here. He's potentially going to put 6th place lap down, and that'll leave us with 5 cars running on the lead lap. Al Bunch is still going to be able to salvage a top 20 finish here tonight, sitting in 19th. Nate Newman has even managed to climb some spots up to 21st, even though he's been trapped 4 laps down for the most of the night. But it's all Atley, our defending 2023 champion, going out there and racking up some extra wins here early in the season. He's got 2 wins. This would be number 3 tonight if he closes it out. And he'll be rivaling Al Bunch for this championship battle, where Al Bunch has 4 wins. It's just been checkers or wreckers for Al Bunch, and he kind of lived up to that motto tonight, having a chance at the checkers and finding himself a little bit wrecked up 4 laps down. "17 laps to go for Atley." Short track racing always leaves us with a different taste, it seems like. It's hard to organize good short track racing in NR2003. And instead of totally just eliminating short tracks from the calendar, we've kept trying to renovate and revigorate, figuring out different ways to run these races, and we're really close. I mean, it still looks rough from a viewer standpoint, where everyone goes laps down, everyone gets trapped a lap down, and then all of a sudden you're down to like 2 cars fighting for it. Honestly, if stages were not a thing in real life NASCAR, that would be the case in real life too. Problem is with NR2003, if we threw stages out there, people would get trapped a lap down because they're stuck on pit road, and the longer they're on pit road on these short tracks, they all go multiple laps down because pit road speed is too slow. That's why Bristol has, you know, a half pit stall on each side of the track where they can enter in any which way. Well, this game was not smart enough to execute half stalls. You know, half the track, pit side, you can come out. You have to go the entire distance of the short track pit road, and it's just hard unless you make the pace car pace down to 5 miles an hour. But then you'd have them all bunch up and wreck under the pace lap because none of them know how to slow down to 5 miles an hour without wadding up the entire field. So short tracks are just one of those anomalies that, as you saw, I was trying to get Al Bunch the benefit of the doubt and work him back onto the lead lap, because whenever he got the wave around, it would send him back down pit road for whatever reason, and ultimately the game just decided that the wave around was going to send him down pit road no matter which way it shook up. So Al Bunch with the 19th. Nate Newman's worked his way up to 20th here. So great recovery for the 20 of Nate Newman, as Bossman Atley is going to lead these last 5 laps at the front of the field. Looks like Chaz Chadwick has moved up to second here. Tristan Reams fallen backwards. He's fell to 4th. But Atley, with only 3 laps, looking like he's going to get yet another short track win to his name here in the Sylvania Cup Series. And even more fitting that he's going to get it done tonight on Toyota Owners 310 at South Boston Speedway. One of the quicker races here in Sylvania Cup. It definitely feels like it was a 3-hour ordeal with all the craziness and shenanigans that unfolded. He's going to get the white flag this time by waving in the air here at South Boston Speedway. Atley, 1/2 a lap to go, and he's going to have yet another win under his belt. Checkered flag waving in the air. Atley, tonight's winner, gets his first win here in the month of May and earns that bonus reward that comes with it. Coming home second, it was Chaz Chadwick. Third, John Roman. Fourth, Tristan Reams. And fifth, Jacob Shangle, as only your top 5 finished on the lead lap here tonight. Al Bunch settles in for 19th. That's a still decent finish here for him, even if he had a winning car that could have got the job done. But the next race on the map is going to be that Coke 600, which should be pretty exciting. We've seen some craziness already out of the Coke 600 events that we've hosted this past week. Congrats to Atley Weiss getting it done here tonight at South Boston Speedway. And that wraps up yet another week of Sigma Racing, as the Sylvania Cup closes out this week with that interesting run there from Atley Weiss stealing the show tonight. And doubleheader done for the night too, so I'm going to get to work on making some renders up for our Music Fest Grand Prix event so we can start getting an idea of all the different paint schemes we can see later in October this year. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Glad you could make it. Congrats again to Atley Weiss. And for this week, signing out. Have a good one, everyone. This is Jakester logging out for tonight.